Hi everybody, and a warm welcome to Get Indie Gaming and to our February overview of some of the best looking indie games you're able to play and buy over the course of the month. It's a bumper one this month, and if there's anything you think we might have missed, which of course that's a possibility, please let us know in the usual places. As always, before we take a peek into our top 5, here's a selection of games, our honourable mentions, we feel are also well worth checking out. First up, for February in the honourable mentions, we have Swaps and Traps from Team Trap. It's a quirky looking platformer with a unique labyrinth-like environment where sections of the screen swap positions, turn over, and even flip horizontally and vertically. One for the out-and-out puzzlers, Cubiques features a minimal, sparse and yet captivating 3D isometric environment that's very much got a Monument Valley feel to it. With over 70 puzzles, calming music and simple controls, it's an entertaining experience on the PC and already out on mobiles. Out now in early access, with a full release this coming summer, Dreadnoughts is a high-flying tank single and multiplayer arena fighter game with a dose of cartoony, physics-based finesse. Launching on February 23rd, Nikki Dream Diary is a follow-up and a reimagining of the original game launched 16 years ago. It was created under the supervision and cooperation of the original creators. The team behind this one have said they've been careful and approached this with the utmost respect and wish to honour the seminal release and hope to further push the envelope on what RPG Maker games can become. Landing with us on February 8th, Attack of the Earthlings combines a turn-based combat and stealth gameplay with a comedic single-player campaign. You, the player, take control of your native alien race against a horde of humans invading your homeland. The only VR title to feature here this month, with Moss you'll play as a cute-looking mouse called Quill that communicates with you via squeaks and other non-verbal gestures. The game features first and third-person gaming sections and sees you solve puzzles to facilitate your progression. Coming to the PC and most of the consoles, Kingdom Come Deliverance offers a story-driven open-world RPG that sees you fully immersed within an epic adventure set in the time of the Holy Roman Empire. With the honourable mentions taken care of, let's open the lid on the top 5 indie games we think are going to be worth checking out this February 2018. We'll begin with Legendary Gary, developed and published by Evan Rogers, that's set to be ready for the PC this coming February 20th. Naturally enough, you play as Gary, a man whose life has become somewhat of a mess. His mother needs help and support as she ages, his girlfriend is falling out of love with him, and amongst other things, his best friend hides away their depression with humour. Come the evening, Gary looks towards a fantasy game, arguably his coping mechanism, in which his character and friends journey through strange lands and fight against a variety of creatures using in what the developer has called a stress-free exercise in problem-solving combat mechanic. Between these playtimes, you'll live Gary's life as he goes about his business and interactions with other characters. We're rather keen on this one. Its hand-drawn artistry, synth-pop soundtrack, and the nature of the interactive story woven with what seems a reflection on assisting others and the nature of confronting obligation. Granted, this won't be for everyone, and yet for us, it's a unique and appealing proposition.
I am stuck in a war between my dreams and my reality.
Psychological horror action thriller Past Cure is expected to launch on the PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox this February 23rd and is developer Phantom 8 Studios' first game. Playing as a former Special Forces soldier who's been subject to years of military experimentation and torture, the result of which has given him a number of supernatural-like traits, such as the ability to bend time and make use of telekinesis. From the pre-release trailers, we're taken by the artistry and the details within the character models and backgrounds. Just like last year's Senua's Sacrifice, it has the design features more associated with AAA studios rather than an indie developer's debut title. We suspect Past Cure will evoke a feeling within players as experienced inside the Silent Hill series. Footage suggests the visuals and audio is aimed at creating a repressive atmosphere and one that's designed to keep you on edge throughout. If we had one concern, it would sit with the combat, as it seems there's limited options to use cover effectively, which may suggest an outdated shooting mechanic. In any case, looks, audio and story-wise, Past Cure appears to be a capable first offering from the team behind it. With Crossing Souls coming to the PC and PlayStation 4 February 13th, we have an 80s-inspired puzzle-driven platformer with beat-em-up combat elements. It features 5 friends in small-town California set in 1986 who find themselves chancing upon a government-led conspiracy and are able to visit a parallel world of the dead. Each of these friends have different and unique abilities that will see you switch between them to use the best of their abilities as you progress and beat the game. A few people have said this takes a while to get used to, but when you do, it helps draw you to them, be this Charlie's ability to speed across the map, Matt's blasting away with the laser, or Joe smacking enemies within the combat sequences. We're big fans of the character animations with their pixelated bodies that seem to radiate emotion. From the previews we've seen, the music also seems to nail the 1980s vibe exceptionally well, and the clever use of cutscenes puts us back on the sofa all those years ago watching Saturday morning TV shows and cartoons. For any 80s children out there, this one should certainly be added to your wish list.
Through the high pines and the whispers of the forest, it was said when the dangers came, a new cry could be heard, the song of a cub.
Coming out via EA's programme for indie developers and in second place for February, Fee is an action-adventure game in which you control a fox-like character within a forest that's highly receptive to the music and songs from the creatures and plants within it. For reason unknown, the forest is under attack from things called the Silent Ones, and they're threatening to kill off its inhabitants. While there's no spoken language, the fox-like creature is able to use a number of calls and songs to communicate with the animals under threat. As you progress, you'll learn new songs and calls which allow you to go deeper into the forest. Fee launches on the PC and all of the main platforms on February 16th. From the pre-launch footage, it reminds us of similar games with strong atmospherics such as Journey and, as others have said, Shadow of the Colossus. In keeping with these, Fee is said to offer limited direction in what players need to do. Exploration, experimentation and interaction are said to be critical to your success, and we're very excited to get to know Fee that little bit closer. And February's out-and-out winner, Battalion 1944, is a back-to-basics, old-school World War II multiplayer shooter that offers an experience we associate with the Call of Duty games from early last generation. There's no perks to unlock, loot boxes to open, or kill streaks to chain together. You choose your gun, you choose your side, and away you go. While rolling out in early access February 1st, and having played the recent beta, Battalion for the most part nails the audio and visuals from the muted colour palette to that classic sound of the M1 spitting out its final round. While the maps we've seen so far are a generic Band of Brothers type of affair, the nature of the 5v5 playstyle seems to encourage an edgy, tactical approach to the gameplay rather than going in with all guns blazing. There are a few grumbles. We'd certainly ditch the jumping ability to remove the kangaroo avoidance tactics, which rather spoils the immersion. We're also keen to see something unique within the gaming modes that have been ported from the likes of Counter-Strike and others. So while Battalion 1944 might at the moment not be perfect, it's certainly got the potential to become the World War II shooter. And with Battalion 1944 at the very pointy end of this monthly countdown, we're pretty much out of time here today. A quick reminder to say we'll come back to you all later this month with our regular selection of videos, and depending on our schedule, some more gameplay featurettes on up-and-coming titles we think you might want to see more from. While it's cheeky to ask if you fancy joining our Patreon and sparing $1 for us to help develop and grow our little show into something more professional, that would be utterly awesome and would be most grateful. Details on this can be found within the description, and with that, many thanks for watching, and please come back soon for more indie game goodness.